My ministers, attend. Our most perfect creation, the silence, it's been disturbed. An echo has found its way back into the mausoleum of stasis, a rhythmic flaw in the finality we have so carefully engineered. I am speaking, of course, about the fool in green and gold.
Look, those 6 strikes on the clock tower, that wasn't a declaration of war. Don't give him that dignity. It was a tantrum. Just a sound, trying to fill a void he can't possibly comprehend, let alone conquer. This nuisance, it must be understood, so it can be properly silenced. He calls it active laughter. And yes, for a moment, its magnetic little distortion sent a tremor through the marketplace. It shattered the peace of our hollow kingdom. But you have to remember, a tremor is not an earthquake. It's a fleeting agitation, a desperate attempt to bring a story back to life that's already dead and buried. You see, his entire performance is a punchline with no setup. He's delivering it to an audience that's already found its comfort in the soil. The herd has no interest in his green meadows. Why would they? They've already accepted the void. His frantic becoming is just an absurdity show, performed in a complete vacuum. Now, to neutralize this fool, we first have to dissect him. Let's examine the so-called philosophy of this post-heroic prophet. Honestly, it's a predictable, tedious spasm, isn't it? Born from a poisoned ancestral line, that Volsung history he and I both share. The difference? He chooses to fight it, while I have chosen to embody its perfect, logical conclusion. He calls his little ritual ontological deconstruction, a very grand title for what is essentially vandalism. He wants to strip away the masks, melt the coins, and send linear time back to some primordial chaos he calls Ginnungagap. It's nothing more than a violent regression, a child's attempt to unwrite a history that's already been written in stone. His journey, of course, follows the most predictable path. He starts as the camel, hauling around the weight of that very same Volsung blood he claims to despise. Then, inevitably, he becomes the lion, roaring his defiant no against a gravity he can't actually defy. And finally, he hopes to become the child, naively playing a game of creation with ashes in a world that is long, long past saving. Each step is just another pathetic gesture against the inevitable. And his tools, what are they? A chipped axe to hack away at his own roots, a completely futile act of self-mutilation. A distorted scepter spitting a zero flame, trying to melt symbols that are already hollow. 6 pathetic little strikes on a clock tower. Believe me, these are not the instruments of a creator. They are the toys of a fractured mind. But here's the thing. While he's playing with his toys, we are working. My tarantula preachers, my ministers of shame, they don't need axes or scepters. No, they wield a far more effective weapon, a moralistic poison distilled into a single, beautiful doctrine. We call it weaponized equality. It's a simple, elegant truth. We teach the herd that any attempt to climb, to reach for some imagined higher ground is a crime, a sin against the tranquility of the grave that they all share. Ambition, you see, is not a virtue. It's a sickness. My preachers, they simply reweave the webs his axe tears apart. They teach that shadows aren't something to fear, but something to be embraced as a shared inheritance. They take his call for creative play and twist it into a frantic tarantella, a dance of resentment that traps everyone in the same web of mediocrity, all of it fueled by the spirit of revenge. The genius of our solution is its simplicity. We offer an escape from the terror of being. We teach them that this unique sense of I is nothing more than a fever, a sickness that we and only we can cure. We give them the sovereignty of the mirror, where they just see themselves reflected in everyone else and find a profound, blissful peace in that shared paralysis. And that brings me to my own philosophy, the only logical state of being, really. While the jester thrashes about so desperately trying to become something, I have achieved a far greater power in becoming nothing at all. Think about it. His nihilism is active, it's noisy, it's frantic deconstruction, and it accomplishes nothing. Mine is passive, and therefore it's absolute. He's driven by this desperate, clawing need to become the absolute I. I, on the other hand, offer the profound freedom of non-existence, the quiet peace of the absolute not I. His is a tantrum, mine is a state of sovereign silence. And let's say he succeeds. Let's say he actually manages to deconstruct everything. What then? He creates a vacuum he has no idea how to fill. And he risks summoning the Red Judge, a sovereignty based on zero, where life isn't liberated, it just becomes fuel for a pointless inferno, a tribunal of ash that offers nothing but mechanical condemnation.
But he won't succeed. He won't. Because my mausoleum of stasis is not some fortress to be breached. It's a law of nature. It is the end state of all things, an inevitable and perfect silence.
Our ultimate work is to bring about the final sunset, the terminal event, the great flattening, where every last frantic spark of individual will is finally smothered. And this isn't an act of tyranny. It is an act of mercy, a final, peaceful surrender to non-existence. So let him laugh, let him strike the tower, let him dance his frantic little saga. His energy is finite. My silence is eternal. He is a fleeting storm, and I am the graveyard soil waiting patiently to absorb the rain.
You must understand, I am not a king who rules. I am a function. This rusted iron is fused to my spine. I am the machine that executes the program of stasis. Just a rusted idol, overseeing the gentle, grinding heat death of a world that has simply grown tired.
Which leaves us with one final thought. In a cosmos devoid of any inherent purpose, who is really the more absurd figure? Is it the jester, frantically trying to build a new world on a foundation of pure void? Or is it the king, who understands the void and has simply learned to make it his throne? Meditate on that. You are dismissed.